Welcome back to the Galley of the Sun. Today we're going ultra simple. I mean, there's 6 things out in front of me, and at the end of the day, these 6 things are just going to make the most perfect pulled pork. All right, we're starting with about a 6.5 pound pork shoulder, bone in, some brown sugar, some pineapple juice, apple juice, and a couple of rubs. What I'm going to do is clean up this pork shoulder, take some of the fat off, separate it, take some of this sinewy silver skin out of it that nobody wants to chew on. Then we'll inject it, put together these first 3 items and inject it, and then we'll get it in the pan, put the rubs on, and get it onto the smoker. Let's get started. So a little history lesson. Smoking meat started way back. It was first recorded by the settlers who came over from Europe and saw that the natives would prep their kills and cure them over a very smoky fire. What that did was not only did it cure the meat for later use, but that smoke drove away all the insects. Right? Well, today we don't worry about that too much, but we still love the smoke. All right, so for the injection, we have a cup of apple juice, a half a cup of pineapple juice, and a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Very basic. This can be modified quite a few different ways. You can add Worcestershire sauce, soy sauce, but I don't think we need any of those today. The rubs we're going to put on are going to give plenty of salt, and this is going to have that nice sweet flavor that's going to enhance the meat. Because the purpose of the injection is not only to make sure that the meat stays nice and juicy, but it's to also enhance the flavor. It looks like the brown sugar is well incorporated. Let's do some trimming. Okay, not much of a fat cap on this one. I think I'm going to pretty much leave it alone. Let's take a look at the underside. Yeah, there's some fat here we can get rid of. Not too much. All right, this piece of meat has lots and lots of intermuscular fat. So we're going to take off some of this top stuff to allow the rub to get and smoke to get to that surface and penetrate in. But what we are going to do is we're going to separate this right here and right at the bone here. You can see it has all this kind of sinewy tissue. I'm just making nice little soft cuts to get this separated. And all this silver skin here, this stuff, nobody wants to chew on that. It's not going to break down. So once we get this separated, we'll trim this inside up. That'll allow us to not only get rid of this tissue that nobody wants, but also get some more injection and rub onto it. And that looks pretty good. Now you see this silver skin here. Take the knife right under it, cut a nice little flap, pull it up, just run the knife right on that edge, cut away all that nasty stuff. Pulled pork, a lot of people say it comes from Carolina. Actually originated in western Tennessee, kind of migrated that way to the Carolinas. Became very popular recently in barbecue restaurants and so forth. It's definitely a favorite here at the Galley of the Sun. Try to get this so you can kind of see how I'm doing this. Trying to take away just that silver skin, that fatty tissue that nobody's going to want to eat, leaving the nice meat exposed. So we can get that rub onto it, get more smoke in it, add more flavor. All right, that looks pretty good. You don't need to get work for perfection here. It's just backyard barbecue, right? All right, so now grab our pistol injector, put that in the tray because, as we've seen before, this injection can go everywhere. You got a nice little muscle here, so stick that injector in, work it around a little bit, make a nice little pocket, give it a little shot. Don't worry if some of it comes out. Just gonna provide us some moisture for a binder for the rub here in just a minute. I'll tell you, of all the injectors we've ever owned, this pistol injector is absolutely my favorite. The amount of control you have and how well it holds up, it's just been unbeatable. All right, that looks about good. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of fat cap here and I'm going to score it. I'm going to score it in a crosshatch pattern. What that's going to do is allow me to, one, get a little more of the rub into the meat below it, and two, when we go to shred it, as it cooks, it's going to, that bark that builds up, it's going to get some nice little crusty edges, which is going to provide some great texture for the pulled pork at the end. So I'm just running my nice sharp knife here across it. I'll turn it. See, I'm just barely breaking through that fat cap. And for the rub today, we're going on in 2 layers. The first one is the Cosmos Honey Killer Bee. This is a great pork rub. It's a sweet flavor, has no heat whatsoever, and not a whole lot of salt. We're going to follow that up with the Plowboy's Yardbird. And this is a little heavier on the salt. Got a little bit of pepper in it. It's going to give it not some bite, but you'll have a little bit of spice to it. And the two together are really going to complement each other. Note to self, make sure they're open before you start recording. Although, you notice, I did all that with keeping my clean hand and my dirty hand and only touching this with my clean one. All right, so good sized piece of meat, can take plenty of rub, right? You got a good heavy coat, right? This one's got, like I said, a great amount of sugar in it, so we'll get all the edges here. And we'll follow it up with that Plowboys, which has the heavier salt. All right, now that this has had a minute to absorb and soak in, it doesn't look like it's going to come off when I flip it over. We're going to flip it over, get that other side, get the inside where we split it up. Took that off. Took off all that nasty, sinewy stuff. Then we're going to go get it on the smoker. Remember, starting with the sweet, and then finish it off with the salty. All right, let's get it out to the smoker. All right, we're out here at our Yoder YS640. We've been prepping the smoker here. It's up to temp at 250. You can do pulled pork anywhere from 200 to 275. You could actually go down to 175 if you wanted. The difference here is at 175, that cook's going to take a whole lot longer, and you're going to have to get it up in temp a little bit higher because you want that pork shoulder at the end to be 205. So obviously 175, not going to be enough. Got to be at least at 225. All right, so like I said, we're at 250. We're going to put this in on the upper shelf, fat cap up, and we're going to smoke it. It's probably going to take about 6 hours, 6.5. Good rule of thumb is about an hour per pound. So, but we'll check on it here in about 3 hours. All right, now we wait. All right, it's been 3 hours. Pork shoulders have been on the smoker, smoking away, 250 degrees. We've been running on competition and pecan pellets today. Take a look. I haven't peeked yet at all, so let's give it a look and see how we're doing. Oh, that's looking great. Beautiful color, starting to get a little bark, right? I'd say we got another 3 to 3.5 hours left to go. We're not going to spritz. We want that bark to build up nice and hard, and we're just going to let it continue on. Well, it took a little longer than expected. It ran about 7 hours. That stall right at 150 to 155 took a little longer than expected. But look at the gorgeousness of this beautiful pork shoulder, what we're going to shred today. All that fat's nearly rendered out, nice and soft. What is in that bone, ready to just completely separate out. Let's get this inside, shred it immediately before the director kills me for not getting her dinner on time. All right, we're back inside, ready to shred. You saw the top of this. I mean, it's just ready to hand pull apart. I got the shredding forks here if I need it, but I don't think we're going to. That bone is just going to come out so easy. We'll just shred this by hand. Look at that. Set that aside. Shred a little bit this. I'll get Mike in here, have him give a try with me.
All righty.
There you go, sir.
I hope the director doesn't know that I ate before her. Oh.
So juicy, so tender. That marinade with the apple juice and the pineapple, the brown sugar. Definitely you have a hint of that in there. Kept it totally juicy. It's fantastic. You gotta do yourself a pulled pork shoulder. Put it on sandwiches, eat it by itself. Some people like a little coleslaw on it. Myself, bun, barbecue sauce, nice slice of cheddar, and I'm golden. All right, well, if you like what you saw today, give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more from us. Leave a comment. Let me know how you do your pulled pork, or if you liked mine or you didn't like it. You know, who knows? Until next time, we'll see you.